There's a lot of evidence to suggest that it's doing a lot of harm, yes. But then there's a lot of evidence to suggest that its use is doing harm as well. In the end, we've got to balance up the pros and cons, as I say. And it's to decide what they think is fair and reasonable.
So what way would you vote?
Again, it's not on this program to tell you what I personally will do in a referendum. I'll listen to the debate like I hope you will and everybody else will. And then having heard all the evidence in a sound, publicly organised debate before the referendum, I'll make up my mind.
Should a referendum consider just whether we should decriminalise cannabis for personal use, or should it consider whether or not we should regulate the sale?
It's difficult to answer that question. You've got to probably have a referendum where the issue is easily understood and where the public steer from the result of the referendum is very clear. Very hard to answer all these questions in that context because you could have a B, C, D type of question, but that would seriously complicate the matter and might confuse the public. So with the best of our intentions, we should see what it is on the question of legality or future law we should decide, make the question fit that, and then put it to the people of this country.
So who should be deciding what the question is?
Well, I think you can trust enough people and a small team of people who would understand the democratic or the need in a democracy to have a very clear question. People who are not, supporters of either side of the argument, to cast the question and frame it. I mean, the Electoral Commission could do that, as it has in the past.
All right. Can you remember which way you voted in the flag referendum?
Where have you been, Jack? We led the charge against the flag being changed. Every other party was for the flag being changed at the start, you recall. One party said this is bad, this is silly, it's a waste of millions and millions of dollars, and that party was New Zealand First.
Yeah, I know. I do. I remember it well, but I'm just drawing a contrast between your opinion.
Well, you didn't when you asked the question, Jack. What's right this morning? You bet slow off the mark.
No, perfectly fine. I'm just drawing a contrast between your attitude to this referendum and your attitude to a previous referendum. You were perfectly happy to give us your opinion on that rule. Why aren't you prepared to give us an opinion on this law?
Because we made it very clear from the start that we were for the New Zealand flag, and until we saw something far better design and as a call from the people of this country, we saw no reason to change it. We said so before the referendum was even decided. He had Mr. Key, who decided that was going to be his legacy, to change the flag. And then he saw the absolute circus and a waste of about $36 million.
Yeah, but you were prepared to
No, I don't see your point. I don't see your
draw a line in the sand.
I don't see your point. Jack. Don't try to be a Philadelphia lawyer. I keep on telling your colleagues that. That's not the same point. The point on the question of marijuana is we have got what is potentially an evil, but it has some superb medical qualities as well. We've got its possible abuse, and it's possible good for the people of this country, and it's a more complex issue than people think. And people are being called criminals as a consequence of their taking it for medicinal purposes and other purposes. It's not like the flag at all. Here we had a flag, which we've had for a long time, copied by Australia, and they should actually change their flag and honour the fact that we got there first with this design, being decided by a Prime Minister as its legacy. These issues are not remotely connected at all.
Well, the fact that they're both going to referendum does connect them somewhat. Anyway, we'll move on. Let's talk cigarettes. You said that excise tax is leading to people being murdered and assaulted in our dairies. So what should we do about it?
Well, I've just made the point very clear to your colleagues in a press conference yesterday that whilst we see these headlines in the papers on a daily basis and sometimes a weekly basis now, people being assaulted and even murdered from the media, when it comes to the real issue, no comment at all. Here we have a group of New Zealanders who are being severely taxed to over $2 billion a year because the pervading view of the country is that it's a bad idea to be a cigarette smoker. And yet of that $2 billion, less than 3% is going to cigarette minimisation. There's something, there's a massive misfit here, and I was just trying to tell the media I thought that they should make people more aware of that.
So do you think we should cut the excise tax or commit more of the excise tax to stamping out smoking?
Well, I think those people who are proponents for the excise tax to be booted up the way it is, 10% every time there's a new cycle of tax increases on the matter, should explain why it's failing, rather than just have this massive impost on a certain group of people where the purpose was to stop cigarette smoking, and you think that'll be to do with education and minimisation, and yet 97% is not going there. That is seriously dishonest.
Hey, we've heard from the White House in the last couple of hours. They haven't denied that Donald Trump sent that tweet to his Iranian counterpart. Are you concerned about that relationship between the US and Iran?
Well, of course we're concerned about any potential relationship that it may end up in the strife and indeed war.
What do you make of the president's temperament, given the nature of that tweet?
Look, I'm not going to spend my time talking about the leaders of other countries in that context. All I'm saying is our job is to, as much as we can possibly do, in terms of persuade our allies to conduct their affairs in a certain way, and hope they listen.
Finally,
we can't do any more than that at the moment. We all get in a right funk about this issue. You all know how we feel about it. It's very confusing, but in the end, we've got to get on with our job.
It is the 25th anniversary of New Zealand First. What are you doing to celebrate? Is there going to be a big party?
We were so busy on the 18th of July, we didn't stop at all. And that's the way it is. We've got a big party organised, or a big celebration organised at our 24th annual conference on the 29th, 30th.